All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at a completely different way to think about the human voice. It's a framework that's built around this ancient, really powerful symbol, and it sees singing not just as a bunch of muscles you have to train, but as a perfect cosmic loop.
So, let's start with a really fundamental question. What even is a singer's voice? I mean, is it an instrument that you play? Is it a muscle that you train at the gym? Or could it be something way more connected and, honestly, more profound? So this new way of thinking about it says the voice is actually a self-sustaining system. And the perfect symbol for this, it's the Ouroboros. You know, that ancient image of a snake eating its own tail? It's all about an eternal cycle where the end just flows right back into the beginning.
Okay, so let's actually break down this vocal loop. It all kicks off with inhalation. That's you gathering up all the potential energy in your breath. Then boom, phonation. That's the literal spark where air turns into sound right at your vocal folds. From there, that sound travels up into resonation, where your throat and your mouth shape it into your unique tone. And finally, and this is the absolute key, is perception. You hear it, you feel it, and that feedback instantly tells your brain what to do for the next breath, closing the loop. It's not a straight line, it's a constant flowing circle.
But, nothing's ever that simple, right? Inside this perfect loop, there's a constant tug of war. And this brings us to the core conflict of singing, trying to manage the two fundamental natures of the voice.
Probably the best way to think about this conflict is like a computer. You've got your hardware and your software. Your static nature, that's the hardware. It's the physical anatomy you were born with and the laws of acoustics that you just can't change. But your dynamic nature, now that's the software. That's your breath, your technique, your artistry. That's everything you can control. And the real goal here isn't to fight your hardware, it's to get really, really good at using your software.
So let's get a little more specific about this hardware. We're talking about the stuff you're stuck with, in a good way. It's the length and thickness of your vocal folds, the basic shape of your voice box, and it's also just the fixed laws of physics. For example, when you sing one note, it automatically creates a whole series of overtones. You don't choose to do that, it just happens. These are the unchangeable rules of the game. But then, on the flip side, you've got the software. And this is where you are the one in complete command. You control the pressure and flow of your breath. You control the shape of your mouth and throat. You control how you pronounce the words. And maybe most importantly, you control the emotion and the artistic choices you pour into every single sound. This is where the magic happens.
So how do you manage this whole conflict between the fixed hardware and the flexible software? Well, the first tool in the toolkit is all about the absolute foundation of any sound you make, balancing the breath.
And that brings us to a really crucial, kind of fancy-sounding word, appoggio. It's an Italian word, and it just means to lean. And in singing, this is the master key to breath control. It's this amazing technique where you balance the muscles you use to breathe in against the muscles you use to breathe out, creating this perfectly steady, pressurized stream of air.
Let's look at how this actually works. Imagine two forces leaning against each other to create perfect stability. You've got your inhalation muscles, your diaphragm and your ribs, and they're working to stay open and expanded. At the very same time, your lungs are naturally trying to collapse and just push all the air out in one big whoosh. Appoggio is the art of resisting that collapse, of using both forces at once to create a stable, totally controlled exhale. It's literally stability born from tension. Okay, now we are getting to the climax of our story, the main event. We're talking about solving the great paradox of the voice, a problem that I promise every single singer has felt in their own body.
I mean, seriously, we all know this feeling, right? You're singing up a scale, you're going for that awesome high note, and then nothing. Or worse, your voice cracks, it flips, it just totally gives out on you. That physical feeling is the core of the singer's biggest puzzle.
So why does that break happen? It happens because you basically have two different vocal mechanisms inside you, and you can think of them as two warring voices. You've got your chest voice, sometimes called M1, which uses muscles that make your vocal folds thick and creates that powerful speech-like sound. Then you have your head voice, or M2, which uses totally different muscles to stretch the vocal folds thin, creating a light, pure sound. That break is just a chaotic, messy, abrupt switch from one system to the other.
Now, the solution here is completely paradoxical, which is why it's so cool. The answer isn't to get better at switching, it's to stop switching completely. The secret is to learn how to use both mechanisms at the same time. This is what singers call the mix. It's this coordinated state where you have both your chest voice muscles and your head voice muscles engaged simultaneously. And that's what creates a seamless, unified bridge between your low notes and your high notes.
So let's just isolate the ingredients of this mix for a second. First, you've got the raw power of your chest voice. Think of your speaking voice. It feels powerful, it feels grounded, and it's full of this rich, earthy tone.
And then you have the total opposite element, the head voice. This thing is light, it's kind of ethereal, it has this pure, floating quality to it, almost like a flute.
But when you manage to blend them, you don't get a third, weird voice. You achieve a single, mixed voice. It has the power of chest and the lightness of head, all at once. It becomes unified, totally flexible, and lets you move seamlessly through your entire range. That's the solution to the big conflict.
But mastering all this technique isn't really the end goal, and that brings us to the resolution of our story, using this newly unified instrument to find your truly authentic voice. The ideal sound we're going for has this beautiful name from the art world, chiaroscuro. It's Italian for light-dark, and it's all about blending the bright, clear parts of the voice, the chiaro, with the dark, warm parts, the scuro. And the result is this single rich sound that has both ringing brightness and deep warmth. It has both light and shadow. So let's just bring this all home. What's so brilliant about thinking of the voice as this cosmic loop is that it gives you direct solutions to really common problems. If your voice feels shaky or you're running out of breath, the solution is balance, which you get through Appoggio. If you feel that annoying break in your voice, the key is to embrace the paradox of the mix. And if your tone just feels kind of dull or maybe too shrill, the goal is unity, and you find that through chiaroscuro.
And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. The whole point of all this technique isn't to sound like some perfect, sterile robot. It's about removing all the physical roadblocks so you can finally reveal what is uniquely you, the singular, one-of-a-kind truth of your own voice.
Which leaves us with this really powerful thought. A singer who has truly closed this cosmic loop, who has balanced their hardware and software, who has solved the paradoxes and unified their tone, they don't just perform the music, they actually become the music itself.